Dollhouse Family, issue 6, Mike Carey writing with Peter Gross on the art. This is the concluding chapter of this story. So unfortunately, it had its gap, between its 5th and 6th issue. Awkward place for it.
Out of interest, does anyone know where chapter 23 of Sea Dogs is? Because are these the only 2 Hill House books that came out today, or was there another one?
No, it was just these 2.
Just these 2, but there was one last week, though, wasn't it?
Well, it's interesting that the Dollhouse Family has chapter 22, and Plunge has chapter 24.
I feel like the original release schedule, it probably was all right and made sense. It's probably just a gap that's done this.
I just don't know which one 23's in. I mean, I'm not reading it anyway.
It's probably Daphne Byrne, because that was a few weeks ago.
It could be Daphne Byrne for all we know, because it's not Basket and it's not Lolo Woods. So that leaves, unless something, I don't know, because Basket didn't get delayed. Right? Yeah, Basket's next week.
So, I mean, I guess it could be in one of those next week.
Yeah.
It could be, yeah. It could equally be one of those. So, anyway, Dollhouse Family. We got the end of the story. We got the sort of the explanation for what the celestial beings fighting at the start and falling to Earth and how that tied into everything.
So I read this and I go, I gotta know it, Pete. And I almost went to our chat to ask you, but I know you hadn't read the books yet, because this was the first thing I read this week. I was very excited. And so I got to know how you feel about the celestial being element.
No, I actually like the celestial being element.
Okay.
The idea of this being this eternal fight between these 2 entities, and essentially what we find out in this issue is that the evil being, which was the woman, or the one that appeared to be the woman for the man, is basically been rebirthing herself through all of these descendants of this family. Every single person has a little bit of her inside them, so she lures them into the house and then takes it out of them in the black room, and then they're stuck in the house after that. But the house itself, of course, is also part of them. Now, why the afterbirth of the first kid created a dollhouse? I mean, he just kind of said, the cat said that happened. I don't know if there's really a why so much.
Well, I mean, I guess it's just the point of, instead of pulling it out of someone to form part of its body, it just went, right, well, we need a form to exist in, across time. Until we get more descendants.
Yeah, I suppose.
So Dollhouse will do.
Because the cat that popped up at the end of last issue turns out to be the Celestial who was fighting this thing, and the cat offers help and says, "This is what you need to do. This is how we're going to fight," and so on, so on. So it becomes about her going in to save her daughter, and we see the parts of the Celestial, because the Celestial being, she's about to escape. She's becoming whole, and it's just at that point where the boyfriend splits open the house and the cat eats the celestial being.
That was really pretty great.
Unique stuff. So they've got this metal that they got from the cave,
which is the sword of the celestial being, which is so metal. I love that so much. And that leans itself into mythology as well, of different things. It's like one of those stories to explain meteorites. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So I think it's either on Avatar or Korra. There's a meteorite sword, right?
Yeah, Avatar. Yeah.
Okay, so that's based off of a real life Japanese sword that they folded out of meteorite metal, and that was the first thing I thought of. That's what this metal was.
I don't remember that. I remember the unobtainium. I don't remember any meteor swords.
I've read that the meteor sword from Avatar, oh god damn you!
I didn't get that joke at first.
I was just waiting for him to get to it, and then he said the last, and he went, "Oh shit, wrong Avatar."
Yeah, unobtainium. That's because I've watched, and I haven't even watched a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but it stuck with me more than Jim Cameron's Avatar, which I've seen once in theaters. So, anyways,
I saw Avatar 4 times in theaters. No regrets.
Nerd. Anyways,
I didn't see it in theaters.
Either did Ashley. No, she doesn't want to watch it.
I watched it once, a few years ago. Well, probably like 5 or 6 years ago now. But I mean, it's been a while. And I watched it and went, it was fine.
Yeah,
right? It's not bad. It's fine.
Sidetrack. The reason I haven't watched it since is I don't want to ruin the theater element. Because it really was a lot it was next level seeing it in IMAX 3D, like immersion, right? It's not going to be the same on my TV at home.
It's a similar thing to what the problem was with Dunkirk. completely spent that. Doesn't hold up out of the cinema. And I suspect that Avatar, I might have enjoyed it more in the cinema, possibly. The spectacles.
I was bored at Dunkirk in the cinema, so I don't even want to know what it's like at home.
Oh, it's not good.
Yeah. Anyways,
for the record, I have watched Avatar at home and still enjoyed it. Just
yes, of course, right. Anyways, so the medal that the original, guy in the family, Cordwainer's dad, was looking for were pieces of
the spear, the
sword, the spear.
A spear,
I love that they use it to. Okay, well, we can't attack it, but we can seal it in that room, and it's like, okay, this should work. This is solid. And then it's just like, you idiots! I'm the house, and why do I need to use the door? Right. And it just bursts out, and that's a great moment.
Which wasn't the plan, but I like though that they got her to monologue, right? Yeah. So then the boyfriend can come through with the axe, and the cat can eat the creature, which I thought was super, super cool. I like that a lot. But as they're basically they're melting down all of this metal, the daughter Una, who's lost her arm in the bombing a couple issues ago, sticks her hand into the metal as almost like a secondary means, right? Like it goes bad. She has something that can stop this.
I love that she does it when no one's watching, and when they turn around, she's got hand behind her back, and she's like looking off the side, like nope, no, nothing.
Yeah, but we can see it sort of glowing because she's put it in the molten, because they're melting down metal, so it's really warm, obviously.
Right, and I just like that shows what type of character she is.
I think when I noticed about this section is that this is the first time in the entire book where the characters inside the house didn't just feel like cookie presences. They actually felt, because there was one point where two of them have a conversation about do they want to not be in the house anymore, and Cordwainer actually talks about remembering his experience and how he got here. It's the first time they actually felt like real characters, I think.
I think that's kind of notable because we've seen them as real characters in the real world, or some of them, right?
Yes.
And they were definitely characters in those instances. I think inside the house where we've seen them, they've just been resigned to their fate inside the house, and it's not until now where they're like, oh no, we can fight back. Maybe we can be something else, that they start to become characters again. I think that's pretty interesting.
So that is interesting because the cat's basically like, I should actually just burn this entire planet to, because the infection's been here. We have to
cleanse it,
have to cleanse it.
Gotta cleanse it with fire.
We have to cleanse it with essentially galactic sized hand sanitizer. and make a run for it. But he's like, no, these humans help me. So he instead of just leaving, he actually rewrites the timeline, and so the couple still meet each other, they still have sex, but the one difference that's happened is that a part of him, the good celestial, seems to be in, and amusingly, the hand of the baby is still different.
Because she dipped her hand in that metal. It's like, no, that's part of her now. I can't get rid of that. So she's got a hand to fight with. So this has got a sequel down the line, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, cool. Because the final line is, "I cannot wait to teach her." So she's going to be like the daughter of not only this couple but also this celestial with this extra power because this metal's like infused into her arm.
She could punch the demons to death.
This could actually be a really sort of straightforward just story about some sort of girl who grew up to be like a demon slayer.
Yeah, like that. Though you could do a sequel of this where it is just demon slayer girl as your story.
Yeah,
very straightforward in comparison. Don't you dare.
What could we compare that to? What could we compare teenage girl demon slayer? Man,
I hope it gets a spin-off where a vampire goes to LA to start a private detective.
Yes, that's it. The hit television show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
It's funny that this is in Hill House, and from what I understand about it, the Stephen King story, it's a very similar ending in the book with how Pennywise is defeated and kind of it rewrites history.
For some reason I heard The Thing and I'm like,
oh no,
this didn't happen in The Thing. What are you talking about, Matt? I don't know. I heard The Thing.
I said it.
It still thinks we're talking about plunge, apparently.
Well, it and thing are both pretty, basic, simple words. I guess
I'm pretty sure if there wasn't something called The Thing, that might have been what Stephen King named it, was Thing.
Yeah, I remember.
Right, instead of it. But anyways, from what I understand, that the movie didn't really touch on as well as this kind of happened. So I kind of find it funny that that's one of the. This is very much the same kind of themes of good and evil at perpetual war with one another, and humans kind of getting in the way, right?
Yeah, I did not expect this book to be a really elaborate origin story.
No. Me neither.
Which is essentially what it is by the end. It's like, no, this is an origin story for a future book for this girl. Demon Slayer.
I remember getting the first solicitation for this and being like, oh, that could be interesting. I didn't realize it was going to be a book that I really, really enjoy. Like,
I remember at the time I was like, well, I was into it because this is the team that did a lot of Lucifer. And I love that book. It's phenomenal.
Right.
I can actually, at the end here, I can actually see some elements of kind of stuff they did late in that Lucifer run, with again another young girl who acquired some powers, godlike in that case.
Right.
But I can see some kind of connective threads thematically in their work here that excites me, because it's like, oh, that was so good, especially once it got to that stuff, it became next level. So this here excites me to see what they do with this in the future.
Yeah.
So there you go. What we're going to... I mean, I suppose we can talk about it as a whole a little bit, because I liked the book quite a bit. I did have some issues. Some of the flashback stuff, I think, in the middle of the book, while obviously establishing some of that story is important for the sake of the end game. I almost wish it was a bit more just kind of succinct and to the point with it, rather than giving it, dedicating like half of issues to telling some of those stories. I don't know if we needed all of that in some cases, but I do kind of like how it came together with the Celestial sort of backstory here at the end. So
yeah, well, I like how it does that, and then it shows how the Celestial changes time, and like instead of her killing her dad, the dad agrees to get some help, right? And she gets to be somewhat normal, and so it just, for all of her trials and tribulations, she's kind of is still the hero in her own story, right? Because it was through this that she got to go do everything to set it right.
The events, the circumstances are different, but the core beats of her life, the good things, like her daughter and this relationship, they still happen. So it doesn't ruin any of that for her.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's good.
All right, what are you rating it, Matt?
I'm gonna give this I'll go 8.5.
Connor?
8.5 from me too.
Yeah, I'm not quite as hard. I'll go with a straight 8, I think, on this one. But this is probably one of my favorite issues of the book. Maybe my favorite issue of the book. So
yeah, I think me and Matt have liked it more than you.
Yeah.
The whole time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, not by like a huge amount, but kind of it's always been like a point ahead or whatever.
Yeah.
I definitely gonna get the collected when it does come out eventually. Of this one. This is a fun story that I think I could give to somebody that's like, I like horror, but I'm not so much about comics. But what could you recommend? And I'd be like, here you go, enjoy this.